Yes, we are officially live right now. So
Perfect.
awesome. We got all the tech stuff figured out because that's the nature of the game, and we never really know what we're doing tech-wise. That's why we podcast and we write books.
Yeah. Well, you write books so far.
So far.
But well, good. So for those of you who have listened to us, obviously, you know, we have a podcast, the Confident Woman Podcast. We are actually, I couldn't say the word, live streaming. That's the word.
Streaming
for the
live.
first time. Yeah, live stream, whatever. Like we just said, we don't know time. We're doing whatever it is that we're doing right now for the first time, so it'll be fun to record this episode live through Facebook feed. So it's fun because today's episode we're actually going to be talking to Rachel about her book that just launched today.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it again, like a book launched today. How freaking cool is that? Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. It's crazy because this is not the launch party I had definitely planned or envisioned, but I guess this is the year of pivoting and this is what we're doing. So I didn't want to not do something, but I also had to do something that also like feels in alignment with, you know, who I am and, you know, what we do. So.
Yeah. I mean, you envisioned like a big giant party with like champagne bottles popping and I don't know what else, something, not sitting on a computer at home. So.
Right. Yeah, I have the pretty much what you think of as the meme with the champagne popping. That's what I had envisioned. So it's going to happen, I guess, maybe later this year. If not, sometime next year, whenever we kind of get back into, you know, the world starts to open up a little bit more. And I do plan to have, you know, some launch parties and book signings and all that fun stuff. Anything to really just get outside these four walls and see people in real life would be really great.
Exactly. So for your book, first of all, that's awesome that your book launched today. How long has it taken to get to this point?
It's taken, it's been a process. It's taken a couple years. And so the actual book itself had been written in about 6 months. 6 months time, and then the whole rounds of editing, back and forth with multiple editors. We actually had a different title at the time. Last year, I was talking with traditional publishers, then had another self-publishing company on board that I had signed with, and it's just been a whole long process. And you know, that publishing agreement didn't pan out, which really was in our favor. So it was just perfect in that sense. And I signed with my new publisher last year. So it's been almost just about a year.
So yeah, so things happen how they're supposed to happen. And Absolutely. It worked out perfect. So the book of yours is called Chasing Perfection. And things just work out perfectly. So that's great. So when I was like reading through, obviously ordered my books today. So excited to get those. My mom was super cute. She texted me. She's like, I just ordered Rachel Brooks' book. That's awesome, Mom. But like just reading through like the description, what's it about, I guess, for those of people that don't know you and maybe haven't listened to our podcast or anything like that. I know you talk a lot in your book. It's about cultivating self-love through your journey through, obviously, sounds like the eye-opening experience for you was being a fitness competitor and striving for that perfect body, but that kind of probably led into more like, what else am I trying to do and make perfect that's not possible? You know what I mean? It sounded like that's where it started. So do you want to kind of like just talk about like how, like what prompted, I guess, the idea of noticing like, shit, like I'm striving for all this perfection in areas in my life and it's not a thing, and I'm driving myself insane, hating myself by trying to do that.
Right. And it's kind of funny how it all turned out. Like I said, I mean, everything is just meant to happen. You know, perfect timing is just obviously not on my time. And I had a different title for the book. And when I bounced ideas back and forth with a couple different people, one woman who's in the book industry as well, she's like, well, just give me a synopsis of what the book is about. And so I did. And she's like, I think your title should be Chasing Perfection. It never even occurred to me because sometimes when you're so deep into something, you don't see it.
Right.
And even though it's when I was going through that rounds of editing, I think I did a control find to see how many times I mentioned the word perfect or perfection. And clearly it was a mass amount. So I was just like, that title really rings true. So the chase of perfection, when we break it down, is really the chase of like, what did lead me to a competitive stage? And when I got to that stage, it just wasn't what I had planned for, and you have these big expectations that, once you hit that mark, everything's going to be like this perfect, you're going to be happy. Your whole world's going to be like, kittens and rainbows or whatever it's called. And
right.
when I took the stage for the first time, it was everything but, and it was just like, set me back completely years beyond. And I really just like had trouble wrapping my like mind around like what I did wrong, retracing my steps. And so I kind of sat in this like pit for a while, which led me to really start working on who I am as that person and why I was even after this goal. And it seemed like this lofty goal, and it seemed actually at the time realistic because I actually had a plan. I had coaches and trainers and diets and all this stuff lined up, but having looked back at it, it's just like I needed to bottom out before I can climb out of my pit. And that was the chase that landed me at the bottom. And really now from taking this whole concept from like a fitness perspective, which is something I do that's like near and dear to me, is helping women get fit from within. And what that is really working on the inner fitness, because physical fitness didn't get me the results. And physical fitness is really just a reflection of what's inside. And at that time, I didn't have, I wasn't internally fit, if that makes sense. And so, that kind of the whole journey of discovering, who I am, and that healing, fitness, and self-love, that's all part of the journey. And of course, there's so much more into this book and the depth that I go to really uncover, who I am to today, to have the story to share. And it was pretty deep. I had to do a lot of deep work, and this is where a lot of my vulnerabilities are exposed, and a lot of the, facing the past and facing like the fears and things that I had to overcome. That's all in this book. And that's why it's kind of like when you put out a book, you're bearing your soul. So it's a big, big accomplishment for me to have that courage to really step up and just be like, here it is.
Yeah.
And so I haven't even gotten a copy of my own book. This is my book, and I still have the not for resale on it. So you guys are in this limbo with this COVID. Everything has been delayed. So I have yet to have my hands on an official book. So I'm looking forward to it. I actually ordered my books, and I got the confirmation today that they ship. So that's all well and good.
I mean, on Amazon today, it told me between like the 26th and the 28th.
Yeah. I got a shipping confirmation today. So sometime next week, I will get them. Yeah. And as soon as I get them, I'm shipping them out to everyone who has ordered it. And I just want to thank you, thank your mom, and thank everybody who has ordered a copy of, the hard copies and the autograph copies, because that really means a lot to me. So they are coming. So just be patient, because I got to wait for them to come to me so I can send them out.
And then you're shipping them all out yourself.
Right.
Got it.
Yes.
So, so when you talk about like going deep in this, so 2 things, 3 things, maybe 4 things, we'll see what comes out right now. But like, would you say, obviously, like it started from that from your fitness journey, but then it seems like this slippery slope of like discovery after discovery after discovery, and going like deep into this yourself, and then deciding to write about it. So now that it's like all in a book and it's all out there, and now people are ordering it, are you kind of like, what would people, I mean, are you I don't want to say nervous, but excited? Like, what's that feeling, I guess, knowing like everybody's going to read all this stuff that you went really deep into yourself to find?
Well, I kind of shared that in the past 2 days worth of post. And to sum it up, I've been a hot mess. And it's just this wave of emotions, because one minute I'm just like super pumped, like, oh my gosh, I want to share what I created because I'm such a creator, and everything that I create, I want to put out. And it just, I love giving. And when I created this, I was just like, oh, I can't wait for everyone to read it because I know it's going to help so many women. And then there's like that second, it's like, ooh, but people are really going to see inside my soul, like what the most deepest vulnerable places of my being. And then I get these like back and forth moments. So the whole anticipation of coming to this book launch today was really about like having that excitement, but yet there was like this sense of like nostalgia, because it's like, this is something I've worked on for so long that it's like, you know, fly baby bird kind of thing. Like, here it is. It's out there. There's no more like hanging on to it to perfect it. There's no more, you know, trying to just, I had to let it go. And that's part of what my story is about, and what I help guide through with the journey is the embracing these certain moments of our life and really identifying them and allowing ourselves to the permission to let it go. And that was I mean, just I've been a wave of emotions. I've been going from, do I cry? Do I nap? Do I dance? Do I go for a walk? Do I work out? And I did. I've done a combination of all of that. And I think, I mean, ideally, I do feel better, and I do feel like obviously there's no turning back. Like it's out. You know, this is something that I've left as like my legacy is like to help people. And even though I have this journey and the story and all the stuff that's, you know, mine, but it's not designed for just me to keep inside. And it was a story I had to write to help other people, guide them through whatever they may be going through. If they can relate to any aspect of my story, you know, through this journey, I've realized, you know, we're all more alike than we are different. So just humanly connected, we all have something in common.
Right. I would say it almost sounds like you'd be like relieved that this is like.
Oh, there's absolutely that. In today's post, there's like a moment of like peace, there's joy, there's relief, there's anxiousness, there's a lot of them. So there is that sense of relief, but it's almost like, okay, what's next?
Right. But it feels like too, like obviously, like no matter what anybody thinks about this book, it doesn't matter. It's your damn book and it's your damn story, and it's out there for the world to see. So who cares?
Exactly.
And
about it. Exactly. And to go back to that, I mean, ideally when I wrote this book, it was written for myself. Yeah. It helped me. It helped free me. And like I said, the more I started writing and unpacking and talking to women, and the more I opened up, I realized like how many other women are in the same boat that I was in, and how we as humans, we connect by storytelling. And this is what I'm doing through my story. And if it helps just one person, then I know that it was worth it. But in the end, it helped me because it's that transformation. And through writing, it's a form of like it's an expressive form of like, I was using the word today, like, it's almost like when I write, the words are my sweat. So it's like how we, you know, pour out our emotions, our words are the emotions. So, you know, overall, like the journey was initially for me, and it was something I wanted to share with everyone else.
Good. Well, I'm glad that you did. And also, I was looking through, and I know I like the word that you use in the description, and a lot of what you just said, like right now too, like the words self-abuse going through, like those words just kind of like jumped out at me too, because I think you're so right. Like us as women, how we, I mean, however you meant the word, I guess when I read that, I think about like just like the mentally bashing of ourselves.
100%.
Chasing perfection.
Right.
So, is that something that you think? Well, I know I have my opinion, but this is your book. So, do you think all women, like at some level, obviously probably do that? So,
right,
they're going to be able to connect with your book on some level in that sense, no matter what, because we all self-abuse ourselves, which I never really heard that word before. So.
Yes. And when I was writing it, I was almost like, do I put that out there? Because it might be like an icky word. But when I thought about it, I'm like, everybody has that negative voice in their head. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, if it's just for women or men, because we hear it. And it's ultimately that voice inside of us that just tells us we're not good enough. No matter what we do, it's that inner critic, nasty voice that just nags and says, who are you? You can't do it. You're this, you're that. So this is the voice that feeds. Like, it feeds this machine, like our body, and tells us what we believe and what we're able to do. And so when we have that inner voice, that negative self-talk, that's that pattern of self-abuse, because we constantly go back to it, and it keeps telling us that we're, nothing, or whatever your voice tells you. Unless it's something positive, empowering all the time, 24/7, awesome, I want that secret, because it will still always come up, because that's filled with like fear, and it's fueled by fear. And that's the self-abuse pattern, is that no matter what we do, if we haven't learned to train that and get our mindset right, then that negative voice will continue to repeat the cycle.
Right. I like that word, like train it. Like
Yeah,
train your body, you gotta train your mind.
Exactly. You have to work it because it's a muscle.
Yeah. So, sorry, I'm writing my notes down of the things you're saying. So okay, and then fueled by fear, all that stuff. So was there something that you noticed yourself saying, I guess, that was your self abuse? Like, I'm not good enough, I'm not whatever. Obviously your fitness journey, so it's probably like, I'm not lean enough, or whatever. Yeah. What do you think some of the most common things women, I guess, do say?
If we're looking at it, we tend to look at it from a physical perspective, because that voice is really confirming what we can visually see. It's not necessarily like the invisible. So, for example, look at ourselves in the mirror, and that negative voice will come up and be like, oh my gosh, look at you. You're so gross. You're so, look at your stretch marks. Look at your cellulite. Why can't you look at like so-and-so on the cover of this magazine, or that girl who's doing that? Oh, you're so like, whatever. It's like that mean girl inside our head. And so I'm seeing this across the board. So many women that cry when they look at themselves in the mirror, that avoid their reflection in the mirror, that wish that they could lose 10 pounds because maybe that might be enough. Or maybe they need to lose 50, 60, 70 pounds, whatever it may be. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's never about the weight loss. It's never about the number on the scale. It's about how we perceive and receive that reflection. And that really comes from an understanding of self-love and self-compassion, and not that negative self-talk and that self-abuse. Because that's the pattern that we've been ingrained in for all of our lives, that we're constantly measuring up to the next person, because society tells us this is what's beautiful, and if you don't look like that, then must be something wrong with you.
Right. Like, I'm supposed to look like Kate Hudson, I athletic scare here. But no, yeah, 100%. Definitely feel all of those things too. I think, and we've talked about it before, but if we're talking like just the physical, whatever, like I totally get that, because I'm someone that like yo-yo diets all the freaking time. And then it's like, why can't I just, you know what I mean? It's not just the physical, it's like how I feel or perceive or whatever. I can't think of the word right now, but yeah, exactly what you just said. To all that, I get it. And I think that comes to like everything you're saying. So what I guess my point is, it sounds like through your book, it's like it starts off with like your fitness journey and goes through all these different things, but it's something that anybody can relate and put to, whether you are trying to like feel good about yourself physically, or in your business, or a relationship, or whatever. It all starts within, right? So
absolutely. For me, it just turned out to be the stage, fitness stage. But, the more I spoke to women, and you see this across, like trying to become the best mom, and they're juggling everything. And at the end of the day, they're just burnt out. Their world feels like so unfulfilled, because they're trying to do it all, but they're not really feeling themselves. And from that, it's just more or less like the proverbial stage of like the fitness competition. So whether you're striving for, to be the perfect mom, or the perfect CEO, or the perfect spouse, whatever it may be, you have to really start uncovering, like, why are you chasing this stuff? Like, what does that mean? And it ultimately comes down to a measure of value of your own self-worth, like your perception of your self-worth. Because you think that if you get it, like if you've achieved that lofty goal, then it will validate how you measure up, how worthy you are. And that's the constant strive of chasing to be enough. Because at the end of the day, we just want to be enough. And that voice will always tell you,
Yeah.
it's not good enough, try harder. That's not good enough, do something different. That's not good enough, they're not going to love you.
Right. Dude, I'm pumped to read this.
You're writing
Especially
all
because
your
I know how
notes.
deep you get.
I know. I wish I could have got you a copy, but I didn't even have any.
Like, I'm just saying, okay. Well, I got some ordered, so I'm pumped. But I guess like for if like because obviously you and I are a lot alike, but we definitely are very different too in our personality wise. But like I think what I'm excited about with your book is I know how deep that you get, and I know there's a lot of people that listen that are maybe more like my personality that are very um I'm into personal development, I'm into that growth, but at very, very kind of surface level sometimes. And I go like when you go, I don't go as deep as I should in things. So I know like I'm excited to read your book because I think that will like set an example of how to look deeper inside and what to look for, and um in that sense, instead of just being like so. Because I think maybe it's a fear thing. Some people are afraid to like look deeper in, because sometimes I want to go deep in my own situations and things, and I'm like, holy shit, I don't know if I want to go that far. I don't even know if I want to know. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to read it for those reasons, because I think especially like your vulnerability and everything that you share in it, I think that that's really important, and for other women to hear and see as an example of what that can look like.
Yeah, and I think that was, when I set out on this journey, I didn't even know I was on a journey. I just thought I was just going to like write a book and I don't know, whatever. Thought it was just going to be a super long blog. I don't know. I really didn't know what to expect of it. And the more I started writing, like these thoughts would come about. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know that was there. And I tried to dismiss it, but it's like kind of when you see something once, it's like, it's glaring and you can't ignore it. And I eventually just started like unpacking a few of those thoughts in my mind. And the more I started unpacking, it was like almost just taking these layers upon layers off of it. And I started getting deeper and deeper. And I mean, I've always kind of been like that self-reflective individual, and it was introspective. And I think overall, like when I started really unpacking and digging deep, I went to a whole nother level, and I started really embracing that fear factor of it. Because when you start uncovering your past and facing your fears, they become a whole lot less scary. Like you actually are like, okay, oh yeah, I remember that one. Okay, I'm just gonna face it, and it doesn't seem so dark and scary anymore. And it's just it really just starts with one. Like start unpacking one thing, and it sucks because you're gonna feel like that resistance to it. You're gonna feel like, oh no, not today, and you're just gonna tuck it away. But you have to unpack that one to get to the next one, and to the next one, and so on. And so I jokingly say, like, I have this U-Haul of stuff I've been carting around for all these years, that in order for me to get to the back of the U-Haul, I had to take out one piece at a time. And then once everything was like all laid out, I started packing that U-Haul back with the things that I actually wanted to keep, the things that were serving me, for the current time and maybe in the future. But we collect things along our paths, and we just bury them back there. And somewhere we get lost because ourselves are somewhere back in that U-Haul. We need to unpack all that stuff to find who we are. And that's what's holding us back from becoming our true selves of who we're supposed to be. And I feel like we just get lost in society of like, from a young age, we grow up, and whether it's, parents, friends, peers, media, whatever it is, we're told who and what we should be. And we start to believe it because we've never really gone back and actually faced who we are. So there is a lot of.
You probably. So,
what's that?
sorry, it was getting choppy there, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
When you stopped talking.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
But I was gonna say, like, obviously, all the steps that you take in unpacking this U-Haul, I'm sure you talk about in your book. So if people are like, how the hell do I start unpacking all of this stuff? Or, you know what I mean? Because obviously you had this discovery, you needed to start doing all this, but I'm sure there was a process involved and steps to do that, which I'm sure you talk about in your book. So people would want to read it to find those out. like what those steps are, or like the process? Am I right? Is that in there?
It is in there. So I mean,
Okay.
I can walk through the whole journey
So
of
buy the damn book.
Right. So if I'm walking the reader through the story or the steps that I took, and those are the steps and lessons and tips and takeaways and all that stuff that the reader's going to get, because like I said, we're more alike than we are different, and there isn't necessarily one size fits all for everybody, but there's bits and pieces, and that's the point of like this journey, is that you find out who you are by, you know, trying things. And, you know, maybe something in my story might stick with you, or you give it a try and it doesn't. You just toss it, and that's okay, because everyone's going to be different. Everyone's journey is unique. You're unique. And so that's all part of, you know, that self-discovery. But if we don't even start, you know, taking that first step, we're going to still be stuck on the sidelines, crippled by fear, held back, be afraid to face who we are, afraid to unpack all those things that we've just buried back there. And we're constantly looking for the next quick fix, because we have that void inside of us that's always displaying there's something more. And if we don't start like making room for that, then that longing is always going to be there, and that U-Haul is just constantly going to be packed full of distractions and procrastinations and other dumb things that just don't serve us. So that's what we have to, like, we're longing for something different, and that's that fulfillment.
Yeah. And all those quick fixes just add more junk to the U-Haul anyway.
And just get away down.
All those. Yeah. Yeah. And there's so many. Yeah. I just think I'm just coming to my mind right away, talk about just like physical appearance. And it's like, I saw this person show me this app that you can like make yourself thinner. So like, that's a quick fix. Like, cool, I can just put this app on. I look like I lost 20 pounds. And that makes me feel good for a second to see a picture, but I didn't really freaking change anything. So it's just like, you know what I mean? Like tricking our brains to realize like nothing, we got to do the work first instead of just slap a band-aid on everything or just move on through life, because then it makes it all that much harder to unpack that U-Haul. I like that analogy.
Right. And that's what we're constantly looking for, is that when we're in a pain point, we're looking to get out of it as quick as possible. And that's why we're almost that to use a word like desperate for the next quick fix, because we just want to feel better in the moment. And you do for a moment, and then we go right back to the same routine. And that's also part of the abuse cycle, because we're the ones controlling it in itself. It's self-fulfilled. We keep repeating that same process. So that's
right.
And it's, you know, when we start to really uncover that stuff, we find out who we are, like who our identity, like our natural born identity, like who and what we were created to be, who we're meant to be, like who are you? And somebody actually just asked the question, how does the book correlate with the my I Am brand? And that's actually, so my brand, I Am Athletics, is really about empowering yourself to become your best and most confident self. And that is, it comes through letting go of limiting beliefs, redefining who you are, and creating your own story. So the brand I Am is true to who you are and your message and your story, but that's up to you to create it. And if you don't know who that is, who you are, that's part of the process. That's part of the journey, the self-discovery. So my brand I Am is really about empowerment from within. And that's who you are and who you believe. And that's like the apparel line that we're continuing to grow is about becoming like your best and most confident self. And that's how it feels through our apparel. Like when you wear it, you feel your best, you look your best, and you feel your most confident. And this is something all part of my overarching brand, is to become your best self. How do you do that? It's really getting fit from within. You have to really break down all those barriers, those limiting beliefs, your fears, your past, overcome all your lies, excuses, all this stuff. It sounds like a whole lot, but it literally is just starting with one thing, and that's picking up that one piece and facing it and picking up the next piece. And you start to really discover who you are before you got lost. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. I like it. Good question. And also too, with your athletic brand too, so you have like the Fit from Within journal.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what that's what I am? Then it just sounds like everything that you do. What I love is that I feel like it all just comes full circle. So
It
it's
does.
like your book of your story, and then like your brand and what the message is of creating your own story, but then like a journal that's actually like, here's how the hell you do that, and like
Right.
the accountability, I guess, and the process and the steps, So I think that's cool how it all comes full circle with all those three pieces in
Yeah,
there.
it's the
And then
three
this badass
components.
podcast too.
Exactly. I was just going to say, so all of it, the platform of what it is, it's, the story as to why I do what I do. The journal coincides with the steps in the story, and also like, the how-to guide. And then of course the apparel line is like, so, you wear it, you feel like you're rocking best self. We got some super cool products that are coming out later this year. I'm super pumped about. So of course everything, COVID, and then of course our podcast, and that's really about talking through all the things that women go through. And of course our podcast is about keeping it real, raw, and relatable. So us as regular everyday women sharing stories, sharing the journey, sharing the highs and lows, and that's what sets it apart from like having that relationship for women where we don't feel like we're constantly comparing our like our lives to somebody else, and we can't compare others outside to how we feel on the inside.
Right. And I also, quick testimony about your brand. I went for a run yesterday, and I am my postpartum body that I'm not excited and in love with right now, but I did wear an I am tank top to running yesterday, and it was really damn comfy and still made me feel good. So
right, so it felt good.
Stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I felt good.
Awesome. Good to hear. Because I mean, that's exactly what the brand is about. The labor of love that goes into everything I do is, to provide high quality products that, fit and move with an individual and serves them. So not only do they look good, they feel good, they listen to, inspiring, encouraging, empowerment words through our podcast, or reading it through the book, or, filling it your own mind with it through the power of your I am statements. And so all of it is just really, like I said, fit from within. And that's, self-empowerment before we can empower others. We have to love ourselves before we can love others. We have to care for ourselves before we can care for others. Everything starts with you. And this is what so many women strive to do, is that we're constantly trying to please and serve other people, thinking it will translate into that fulfillment that we're looking for. It's
right.
a little choppy sometimes, but think we got.
Well, damn, I'm excited for this book.
I am too.
I feel like this is gonna be like in Oprah's book club.
What's that?
That I feel like this could be an Oprah's book club.
Maybe someday. Who knows?
You never know. Why not?
Yeah. And
why not?
Right, and that's
So is there anything else you?
What's that? I think
Is there anything else you want to add about?
Yeah, I mean, the book itself is available on all platforms, like Amazon, Barnes and Noble, where else I see Kobo Books, Apple's coming out with it. There was, of course, some tech glitch on there this morning. So keep checking back on that on Apple and iBooks, and, one of your favorite platforms.
And it's all on your website.
Exactly. So if you just want to go right ahead and get whatever you need, you can go to I am Rachel Brooks /Chasing Perfection, and there's the book, the order, and right now I'm still giving away the free digital download of my journal that coincides with the book itself to kind of kickstart your journey. So that's the Fit from Within 60 Days of Finding Freedom, and that's really the empowerment of like how to kickstart that journey to become your best, most confident self through like mental, physical, and emotional as well in there. So a lot of good stuff. Like I said, everything comes full circle with the brand of what I'm doing, my message, my mission, and it really is to empower women to get fit from within so they can become their best and most confident selves. So awesome.
Love it.
Yes, I'm excited for it. Yes.
We are too. I can't wait to get my copy, and then bought another one to give to somebody. I don't know who yet, but someone's going to get a copy.
Yeah, I a
I was
ton.
gonna give my mom an extra copy, but she it, so
Yeah, so you can gift it.
but yeah, so obviously, what's that?
You can gift that one.
So obviously, you need to go out and celebrate and do whatever it is you're gonna
Yes.
do. And
So that's I
I feel like
think
we keep talking at the same time.
I know, I'm sorry. I don't know who's listening, but our spotty like Wi-Fi can't tell when somebody's talking. So we apologize for the tech stuff, but
It's real.
yeah.
But yeah, so I know you need to go celebrate however you can tonight, and we'll celebrate when all this everything's normal again, I guess. I hate that word, normal. But yeah, I'm excited. So thanks for sharing with everybody about your book. I know people have been probably waiting forever for it. So excited to read it, share it, and get some digital downloads of the journal.
Yeah, that'll come out
Just
eventually.
see how much get better.
Yeah, yeah, and the journals will eventually come out in print sometime, someday. We're just trying to figure out all the logistics of things that are happening right now. But the journal itself is really cool because it's interactive and fillable. So you literally just like check certain things. And I mean, it's so user friendly and easy to use, which, it's kind of my whole process is why do we overcomplicate things? Let's just keep things simple. So that's really cool. In my athletic line, the new products will be coming out later this year. Again, everything is like tentative because this 2020 was supposed to be like the year, right? It was supposed to be everyone's year. I guess I get to check off the one thing I put on my list this year is become a author. And so I did that today. It's checked. And I am planning to celebrate this evening with my husband. So all that fun stuff. So yes, I think that concludes.
I didn't hear it cut out. How are you celebrating?
With my husband, we're going out tonight. So we'll just celebrate it.
Woohoo! I'm sure he's excited your book's done.
I think we all are.
Good. Well, enjoy.
Right. And it's just it's nice to have that like checked off the to-do list in a sense. It's been on there for some time, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter in my life and starting on my next book. So awesome.
Yeah. I'm sure now you want to keep on writing. So.
I absolutely love writing.
Well, yeah. Good.
I fell in love with the process. Awesome. All right.
I should start. We'll see.
Yes, you should.
Okay, well, enjoy your celebration dinner. Have fun, and yeah, let's do this again. I can't wait to read your book. If you have her book, when you order it or you get it, make sure you post about it.
Absolutely. So I think everybody should technically be getting their, if they've ordered online, they should be getting it within the week. If you've ordered through me, I'll be getting it in a week, and then I ship it out. So bear with the delays here, but they are coming. So and if you can't wait to read it, Kindle, Nook, I don't know, those other e-reader things. So e-readers, digital stuff, it's available.
All right, they're everywhere.
Right.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks. Congratulations.
Thank you.